Welcome to Stuck Time to Improv. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. Today, we're going to be talking about how to filter all the advice you're going to get as a startup. And our special guest is Dianne Callahan from Catalyst Coaching. Thanks for coming, Dianne.
Thanks for having me, Mary. This is going to be so much fun.
So, you were a startup. What was it like for you?
I don't know if I could even say past tense. I think I'm still in the startup sort of part of it. Um, my best friend of 44 years and I decided to launch a coaching and consulting company in the middle of the pandemic. And we had gone to an event and we were looking at each other and we went out to lunch and over champagne, I said, we could do this. We're already doing this, right? We already coach people and mentor people, all this stuff. And so we decided to go for it then and there at that lunch. And little did we know that was in February of 2020. And little did we know we were going to be going into a pandemic. But we just thought, let's do it. So we got the training towards the end of that year. And in January of 2021, we went for it. And we're still going for it.
Okay, so let's talk about it. When you're a startup, you get advice from everybody. Okay.
Yes.
So, how do you decide what you actually pay attention to?
This was a big challenge for us. So, our business is about coaching people to their highest performance in life and working with companies that want to do the same for their teams and help their teams be wildly successful. So, when we launched in 2021, and then we went to Puerto Rico, where she bought a beautiful home right on the beach, and we were there to oversee the renovations. We thought we'd be there 6 weeks. We were there 4 months, almost 4 months. It was crazy. But at the time, we were like looking into all this advice about being these crazy successful coaches and reading all the books and she had hired an Instagram coach and we with all that input, we started to feel really bad about our business. Like, well, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I don't. And then we started getting like, okay, so let's really do this Instagram thing, this social media thing. And then I was spending so much time trying to put together social media posts. And and then the woman who was coaching us said to us, don't tell anybody that I'm your coach because your Instagram doesn't really look that good. And I was like, okay, I get her point. She doesn't want to put her stamp on it. But at that point, I thought to myself, okay, I'm not here to uh, win a prize for the most cohesive Instagram or anything like that. And then some of the books we were reading were saying like, until you're like 10 grand a month coach, you can't really get into our program. And then the one guy that we were following, who I still follow and really, really appreciate his wisdom, he was all about that niching down. Like you had to have your whole avatar thing, and you had to have this one particular person that you will serve. And we beat our heads against a wall trying to do all the things. And finally, I just said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in a competition for the best Instagram. I don't want to spend more time making social media posts than I do working with people. I don't want to uh, decide on one particular kind of person that we're going to help and then just ignore everybody else. That doesn't feel like why we got started on. And so we were able to really kind of within that first year circle back around to what it was that we're trying to do. We're trying to help people, you know, step out in confidence and joy and make really good decisions and be accountable for their dreams. And so we threw most of the advice out the window.
So it's really about staying on mission. If you've got a good mission statement, a good goal statement, you need to say it to yourself, read it to yourself on a daily basis.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes in all honesty, sometimes it takes a while to get to that point. It's not like a linear thing, like I'm launching a business and then it's going to launch and go straight to the stratosphere. It's more nuanced than that. And so, yeah, you have to know who is it you want to serve and why they would choose you. Do they even know they need that help? See, that's another thing. I mean, for coaching, there's so many people who could really use some good coaching in their life to really get off the sideline, right?
That's it. And until they realize they need it, you can't help them.
No.
So when I was a video producer, I used to say, I'm looking for people who know they need video, but aren't sure where to go.
Yes. Now, see,
So
what
I
I love
want them
about
who've
that,
already made that decision. They need to be in my space. So that's how things kind of worked for me in New York.
I love that because it opened the door to you weren't like, I do videos for um healthcare. I mean, you didn't just niche yourself into a corner. And I get that there's some wisdom. Some businesses have really flourished by doing that. Um, but I and people will say, I mean, people listening to this right now are probably thinking, you can't be everything to everyone, all these things. But you a lot of coaches have now developed a niche for coaching coaches. And they're making a lot of money because they can promise, their promise is that I will help you become that $10,000, $20,000 a month coach, whatever. And so for me, we in our business are not really able to make that kind of like promise, like coach with me for 12 weeks and you'll lose 50 pounds, double your income. And you know what I mean? Because it's, it's like what they
Right.
bring into it.
Right.
But one piece of advice I would say is to don't wait until you have all the things, everything perfectly in place. Um, because there's that whole, I can't think of the term, but you could spend all your time researching, doing the webinars, sitting on other
Sure.
people's webinars, getting information
Yeah.
and
And
and you,
the phrase is done is better than perfect.
oh
And
yes,
getting to a really good point in your business requires beta testing. It means you put something out there, you see what part of it works and what part doesn't. You get prepared to pivot if whatever you're really buying into isn't quite working. And
yes,
above all, you got to trust yourself. You got to know if there's a little voice inside saying, what I'm hearing is not what I need. You need to be able to say, thank you very much. Bye.
yes, because the whole world is full of advisors now. I mean, everywhere you look. I mean, even I was just thinking about this morning, even my inbox, because I've clicked on things or I've downloaded the free thing, it's full of people telling me how to do everything better, right? And you, like you said, you have to be just really clear on what you're here to do, what your gifts are, what your focus of your business is, and then let that kind of create it. We jumped in and made a little bit of money, not a ton. I mean, not a ton, but then we had enough to then hire some people that could help us do the thing because you can't know how to do everything,
Right.
right?
Right.
So we hired an amazing um, woman who kind of put together, well, not kind of, she put together our website, but also sort of our brand feeling. And so we got that done this year. We worked with a consultant to do photographs and kind of content messaging and different things like that. So we were able to get started, make some money doing what we're here to do, and then hire people who are here to do what they're here to do to like build up the business. And we're continuing to do that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dianne Callahan from Catalyst Coaching. I'm Mary Scott with Business Riff, and I want startups to be wildly successful. One of the best things you can do to actually be successful is book a synergy call with me at businessriff.com and join us again next time for Stock Time to Improv.